We build our entire justice system on a foundation of measurable physical proof. We rely on forensics, rigid procedures, and strict legal precedents to define what is real and maintain order. But in 1897, a blacksmith in West Virginia found his 23-year-old wife, Zona Hester Shue, dead at the bottom of the stairs. The local doctor performed a quick examination, ignored the husband's erratic behavior, and recorded the cause of death as an everlasting faint. The case was closed until Zona's mother began experiencing recurring dreams. Night after night, the apparition of her deceased daughter stood by her bed and detailed exactly how her husband had murdered her, specifically explaining that he had crushed her windpipe. The mother took these visions to the local prosecutor. She was so specific in her anatomical details that the authorities agreed to exhume the body. A formal autopsy revealed a broken neck and a crushed windpipe, matching the mother's account. The husband was arrested, tried, and sentenced to life in prison. The mother's testimony about her spectral encounters was entered into the official record and used to secure the conviction. If an 1800s courtroom can successfully rely on an apparition as a star witness, we have to ask what occurs when our modern, highly rigorous institutions are forced to document the impossible. In November 1967, a law firm in Rosenheim, Germany, was defined by routine paperwork and predictable business hours. That order collapsed when the office phones began dialing the local speaking clock service hundreds of times a day without anyone touching them. Soon, fluorescent tubes began exploding over desks, and heavy paintings rotated completely around on the walls. The local utility companies failed to find a mechanical fault, so the government sent in a team of physicists. Led by Dr. Friedbart Karger, they arrived with complex electromagnetic monitoring devices, expecting to find evidence of fraud. This diagram shows what their instruments recorded. The background electromagnetic radiation remained flat, but the moment a 19-year-old secretary named Anne Marie walked within 8 feet of the sensors, the reading spiked, despite her carrying no identifiable power source. For months, engineers and scientists recorded hundreds of these events. They documented heavy filing cabinets sliding across the floor and copy machines failing, yet they could not provide a single logical explanation. The anomalies ceased in January 1968, the day Anne Marie quit her job and left the building. The Rosenheim case suggests that scientific methodology hits a hard ceiling when the physical environment stops adhering to standard laws. 3 decades later, in the year 2000, a young mother named Jody moved into an apartment in Chico, California, and immediately noticed a heavy, dark atmosphere. Over several weeks, objects in the home moved on their own, and her 3-year-old daughter began speaking to an imaginary friend. At the same time, Jody suffered recurring nightmares of a young girl being bound and tortured in a basement. Jody later learned that her apartment was the last known residence of Mary Elizabeth Spinicki, a 19-year-old who was abducted and murdered in 1976. The details of Jody's dream aligned with a confession made years later by the killer's wife. The haunting persisted until 2008, when Jody contacted the police with information from her nightmares. She told the officer her dream flashed a distinct sequence, 35.76 A17. A17 designated a local highway running through the area where the body was allegedly buried. 35.76 was the exact mileage from the killer's home to the specific search grid. Law enforcement officers, bound by strict procedural rules and the need for physical evidence, were forced to accept a supernatural nightmare as an accurate geographical lead. We have physicists defeated by rogue electromagnetic fields. We have detectives relying on sleep-induced nightmares for map coordinates. And we have judges handing down life sentences based on the testimony of apparitions. These dossiers reveal a vulnerability in the systems we trust for our daily safety. Logic, science, and law are built for a world that stays within its lines. They offer little protection when those boundaries slip. These documented anomalies sit in official archives, serving as a record of a universe that does not always answer to us. They suggest that our control over our surroundings is far more limited than we care to admit.